Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you're new here, I'm Riot. This marks week 40 of Weekly Hyperfixations. Simply 12 more of these before we will have capped out a year's worth, which is insane. Right? Do I know how to count? 40 to 52 is 12. Yes. We got some silly times on the docket and some not so silly times. Not as serious as last week's episode though. Thank goodness, honestly. I'm not satisfied with how the background is placed. There we go. That's better. So we'll start with some silly goofies, all right? Critical Role. Yesterday evening, no, what day is it? Tuesday evening, October 7th, yesterday evening for me, was the Critical Role live at Radio City Music Hall, Ford and Jester's wedding. Oh boy. And any Critical Role fans, I am going to be putting some picture spoilers of basically the cast's outfits live on stage. I'll try to avoid other spoilers. Like any pictures that are spoilers, but it was absolutely beautiful. I will lead up to Ford and Jester's outfits. First and foremost, both Marisha and Ashley looked excellent in their outfits for Bo and Yasha, respectively. And ooh, they cooked here. All right. I will also be showing the official character designs going forward, so there's also that. But you know, their in real life outfits did differ from their on-stage outfit. Or sorry, their onstage outfits differ slightly from the outfits that the characters were canonically wearing, but regardless, they all matched the vibe of what their character is wearing. The most accurate outfit of the evening being Jester's, but both Ashley and Yasha, respectively, their outfits were really good. Bo and Marisha as well. I was a very big fan of Liam's outfit. It definitely was the most subtle, I guess, outfit of the IRL outfits, but also it's Caleb, so you know, but I really loved the makeup, and the pants had like these not pattern, but like these patches of silver on them, which looks really cool. And of course, Matt was dressed as what Essek would wear, because Essek was also there, canonically. I will spare some details that I know of that, but, and then, Talison's outfit for Caduceus was perfect. Taliesin dyed his hair pink to match Caduceus and was in a beautiful green outfit. It was so good, and it felt both very Taliesin and very Caduceus, and that was wonderful. And of course, Caduceus officiated canonically. My favorite outfit, aside from the wedding dress, of course, was Veth's outfit, and the outfit that Sam wore on stage. It was this beautiful suit, probably the coolest suit I've ever seen in my life, actually. It had a very beautiful, I'm pretty sure Luna moth type motif. And I didn't realize from the pictures from backstage but that thing was covered in sequins. I saw a couple people, you know, a video of the on stage kiss moment, and, you know, Sam politely standing there, but just the shiny, the lights reflecting off of the outfit were really funny to me. And it's really sweet. Also, as per usual, anytime Sam is at a live show and is playing Veth, he has makeup that is in the pattern of the same tattoos that Veth has canonically, which is also really cool. Of course, Ford looked excellent. Travis looked great. Not only did his character win, but Travis, technically, if you count this as a real wedding, Travis has gotten to marry his wife twice. So that's really special. And you could really tell from even just Laura's expression how impactful this was for them, because it was like getting married all over again. Of which they've been together for 14 years for context. But his suit was wonderful. He helped her up onto the stage, and just the art that was made for Ford and Jester did for the invitations that I've shown on previous episodes, or the save the date, I guess, on previous episodes, really matched up with what they were wearing quite well, with some discrepancies, of course, because art versus what they actually had made, but it was beautiful. And then Jester, they had, you know, Laura full-blown costume, biggest, poofiest, most princess-looking dress I've ever seen in my life, which also, because, you know, people on Twitter have been showing, you know, the different, almost knocked over my dice. People have been showing pictures of, you know, Ford and Jester Radio City Music Hall kiss, and the actual photos from Travis and Laura's actual wedding, which was 14 years ago. And her dress back then was much simpler than Jester's wedding dress, because, you know, Jester as a character is just a lot. And it's also really cool to see that she basically got both of those wedding dresses, which is fun. That dress was beautiful. They had her walk down the aisle of Radio City Music Hall. Her bouquet had a little, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be the wand of smiles, but it had the big lollipop in it. It wasn't like the whole wand of smiles, but it was like a little prop one in the bouquet. It was really cute. Y'all, the glow Laura had on her face, she was so excited to be doing that. And of course, the audience was filled with fans, so there was that extra level of this is a wedding, you know? They did have a reception, from what I can tell, and they did have blueberry cupcakes, of course. And a lot of the current Critical Role cast was there, which is really cool. Because, you know, all the way in New York. But it was beautiful. I will talk a lot more about Critical Role later, but we're gonna get through the rest of my notes. On a more serious note, a couple days ago, Greta Thunberg was returned. I believe she landed in Greece first, and then went, you know, is making her way wherever she's going. But the most impactful thing of her being released from Israel is that she, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she basically said, like, in every interview she's had, that she doesn't really want to talk about the specifics of what Israel did to her while she was detained, just that it was torture, literal torture, but that she stated like her recognition of, if I told you what they did to me, that would be a bigger headline than what's happening in Gaza, and that is more important than me. So, big win there. Another, well, I'll space out the more harrowing topics. Even though that next one wasn't super harrowing, but it's still disappointing. So instead, Fields of Mystria announced their newest roadmap. In the next update, the final marriageable candidate, the final bachelorette of the game, will be released. And the mines will become completable, which is awesome. They also shared that their 1.0 update is they're shooting for next year with it. And they will, of course, be finishing out all of the marriage pathways. Yeah, all of the marriage candidate pathways. Don't know why it took me a while to think of that. But I'm very excited for that. I started a new file of Mystria yesterday because I missed the game but didn't want to play my file where I've pretty much completed everything that's available at the moment. So decided to pull it back and start a new profile. But yeah, I'm excited for that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, it's not like outright sad or anything. It's just really disappointing. Ubisoft and mostly just the Assassin's Creed franchise, but also they are a Ubisoft game. But it was announced that they were canceling their upcoming game because, if you did not know, the next Assassin's Creed game was going to be set during the Civil War. You were going to be, the player character was going to be a former slave, and the big bad over the course of the game was going to be the KKK. They canceled the game because they were scared of America's current political climate. Gee, I wonder why. But, yeah. Super disappointed because, hey, I don't know what you thought they would do to you, but the Superman movie exists and James Gunn didn't give a fuck about censoring himself for that. So y'all are just pussies, I guess. Also, that game sounds so unbelievably fun. I'm so pissed off that they canceled it. I don't know if they're completely scrapping it, but they did cancel the game. They didn't really specify if that meant that they were never going to make that game or if they were just sidebarring it. But also, because of the content and the political climate that they're scared of, I don't think they would say if they're actually canceling it or if they're just sidebarring it for later in time. Disappointing all around. Unrelated side note, I know it's not that day for you guys, but today is October 8th. Happy International Lesbian Day. Be nice to your fellow, your not fellow. Be nice to your local lesbians. That's the tweet. But genuinely, they are definitely some of the strongest women probably on the earth. So shove over, dog. Like, I guess not shove over, but you know what I mean. Please respect lesbians. Because they have done a lot for people in general, but also for other queer people, particularly queer men. Sorry, particularly gay men, but nonetheless, also due to the current political climate, lavender marriages might have to be back. So thank you to, I mean, I guess all the queers, honestly, but in particular, Happy International Lesbian Day. I texted exactly. Actually, I don't know if do I have any friends that are lesbian? Most of my friends are non-binary and like pansexual, so. Oh wait, I'm stupid. Yes, I do. I have a close friend. That's lesbian. I'm gonna text, you know what? I'm texting her right now. Actually, I'll make a note to text her. All right. Cool. I'll do that after recording. Anyway. One Piece live action is getting presumably closer to its release. I can't remember when it comes out, but we got some more pictures of some scenes of some earlier? No. Some scenes kind of towards the end of season 2, I think. Depends on how they're proportioning it. But they showed us pictures of Crocus. He's this old guy who looks funny. But I just wanted to share because I am excited about Opla. Because so sue me, I miss my silly pirates. I say as if I can't just watch normal One Piece, but you know, it's fun to see it with real people, you know? Jim Lee confirmed that DC Comics is staunchly not going to support any form of AI generated storytelling or art. Big win for DC. Also, James Gunn also super does not support that. So DC as a whole is winning. So that's really great. I'm also glad that it was like an official issued statement. New York Comic Con's happening on. Whoa. Is going on right now. I tried to say two different things at the same time. I tried to say it's happening and it's going on. Ooh, okay. The Markiplier. Mark and Amy got married. Which is super exciting because like they've been together for 10 years. And even as a fan of Markiplier, who's more of like a fan in passing, it's always wonderful to see people like that. The first time I watched a Mark video was probably 2014, 13. And in passing, because I live with Markiplier fans, who would have guessed? But as a fan in passing, it's already cool to see someone's progression. But also, it's like back when PewDiePie and Matsuya got married, everyone was excited about that too. I feel like it doesn't seem that it doesn't seem like there's a huge amount of hype for, you know, some YouTubers get married. There's been more in the past year, but it's just cool to see because, 10 years, it's delightful to see that, like, I remember, one of the first videos Amy was mentioned in, and now they're married. Also, their pictures are just so cute. I loved her bouquet, by the way. I used to be in a very religious family, so I've been to probably 200 or more weddings. I have never had the pleasure of seeing such a bouquet. It was beautiful. But I just like seeing those pictures because weddings are fun. I've been to a lot of them. Like I said, it's always a fun atmosphere. So delightful to see that Mark and Amy got married. Next up. Ooh. This is a personal silly goofy. Okay, you ready? Today a friend texted me and was like, do you want to go see a double feature of Wicked on November 20th with me? Girl, yes. I purposefully didn't see the first part in theaters because I wanted to watch a double feature because that is how a musical is intended to be watched. I'm a theater kid. I prefer that. So my friend texted me and I was like, sure, let me double check about like ticket prices and stuff like that. And she was like, no, I'll pay for it. I just want to go on this excursion with you, or what, I think that's what she said. And I was like, I've discovered a key facet of autism that I didn't realize, because that realization for me in general is new. Because, any psychiatrist has, waved me off about it because I have all these other things like anxiety and ADHD, and the ADHD is so strong. But I realized that even though, much like a neurotypical person, I have an easy time reading people's emotions, gauging if someone is like not feeling it, or like if they want to go home, or like that kind of thing. I'm great at that. What I'm not good at is determining how close I am with someone. I will, like, genuinely, when my friend texted me, because here's the thing, we do not text super often. And she's a relatively new friend to my friends as a whole. And I don't get to hang out with her a lot. And that's been the situation the whole time I have known her. So it's hard for me to gauge whether or not she likes hanging out with me. Just because I do not feel like I know her well enough. And then she'll be like, no, I want to go on this excursion with you. And I'm like fucking honored. I will be wearing green mainly because I don't have enough pink to justify trying to wear pink. The only pink I have is Barbie pink, and that's not this movie. So, also this is Glinda's movie. This is Elphaba's movie, Be Real, not Glinda's movie. This is Elphaba's movie. Okay, Wicked is about her. But I just thought that was a funny thing that I might share, that autism can also mean not understanding how close you are with someone unless it's like explicitly stated, or something that I perceive to be a close friend activity is asked of me. Like if I'm asked that I want to go on an activity and I perceive that activity as a close friend activity, then my brain is like, oh, we're friends. It's a whole thing. But because most people I get along with, I would assume to be my friend, but I have trouble perceiving when a friendship become like if two people who are friends become closer friends. I have a hard time gauging that. So I just wanted to share that because I'm very excited about it. And those plans were made today. So I'm excited. Lastly, hold on, I'm going to cough real quick. Okay. I just had to, I am not sick anymore, but I do still kind of have the cough. It's residual. So this happens every once in a while when I get sick like that. Basically, it happens anytime I get a sinus infection. But anyways, I know I've been talking about Critical Role a lot, and I'm gonna continue to do that because I haven't yet got to share my campaign 4 thoughts. I don't think. Yeah. Dog, everything I wanted and more. First of all, it was excellent. I think my favorite character is Valen, purely from the entrance and how Ashley handled herself while role-playing as Valus. Excuse me. Also, Dog. Yo, Brennan Lee Mulligan ended the first episode of the campaign on a cliffhanger. That is not a joke. What? Absolutely insane. God, that was also super fun fact, I was live texting my friend who is functionally on the other side of the country, not as on the other side as before, but and I was texting with them back and forth, or like seeing, you know, just some little live reactions to things that were being said. Laura's character had some pretty intense stuff right away, and we were texting back and forth like, holy shit, I'm sobbing, that kind of thing. It was beautiful. I think for Critical Role fans reference, my top 5, probably, I want to say Valus first, just from aura, honestly. I want to say, actually, no, that's not true. Number 1 favorite character from this campaign so far, and probably for the whole thing, I'll be so real, is Tyranny. She's great. And then, she is a tiefling functioning more like a demon than a tiefling, but you know. So Tyranny, definitely my top favorite. Then Valus. God, there's so many options. I'm trying to narrow it down to 5 people. I'd say Taisha, which is Abria's character. Let's see. What have I already said? Tyranny, Valen, Taisha. Cat again. That's the tweet. Sorry, that was atrocious. And then I'm gonna say Hal. And here's the thing. I would say Bolaire, but I feel like I haven't gotten enough of a taste of what Bolaire is like. Besides the design, which I'm in love with, but like, I feel like, you know, it's hard to pick as well. There's 13 of them. There's so many options of favorites, but Tyranny is definitely my favorite because she reminds me of the situation I was in high school, in which I was what most churches would classify as like some sort of heathen, or, you know, Gentile, pagan, whatever word you want to put in there, that was adopted by a high level religious family. So immediately her interactions with Wiccander, I keep calling him Wickend, it's Wiccander. Tyranny and Wiccander's interactions really hit home. Girl's gonna make me cry in 10 episodes, I swear. But anyways, let's move on to the pyramid because I'm yapping a lot. First up on the pyramid is Caduceus. Hold on, I need to cough. My apologies. Okay. First up on the pyramid is Caduceus Clay. Just purely based on Caduceus' normal demeanor and personality mixed with officiating a wedding, first of all. Also, trying to wrangle the Mighty Nine to be able to get through the ceremony part also seems really hard. Also, Taliesin's whole ensemble. Not just the outfit, the entire ensemble. 10 out of 10 no notes. Also, I pretty much have an attachment to any character Taliesin makes, which is why I'm holding on to hope that I will really like Belair, because that is a Taliesin Jaffe character, and I always like those. I just haven't gotten enough. But that's why Caduceus is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Ford, for many a reason. First of all, excellent outfit. They got better at the makeup because the last time I saw Travis in makeup for Ford, it wasn't quite as, it looks like it wasn't hanging on as well as this one was. So big props to whoever did the makeup this time around, because you really did a stellar job. Let's see. Let us see. Also, Ford bagged the coolest character of all time. Thank you. Also, Ford, Travis as Ford. Travis got to marry Laura Bailey twice. He deserves to be on the pyramid. Also because the Critical Role wedding at Radio City Music Hall is taking up all of my brain cells. So, I'm also very excited for another episode of Campaign tomorrow. So Critical Role is just on the mind so hard right now. Okay. Next up on the pyramid is the bride. Jester Lavore is up next on the pyramid. Laura did an excellent job, excuse me, with just, I mean, I know part of it what didn't even have to be acting. She was functionally remarrying her husband. But she seemed so, she also seemed honored to be there. Radio City Music Hall is a big deal, you know? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I keep coughing. But just the whole ensemble, and I don't know how they went about getting the dress, if they like commissioned it, you know, how much input everyone, you know, the whole deal. But just having a character so well established, and this goes for all of the Mighty Nine. But, you know, just the idea of having a character so established that people will fly out to see your fictional character get married live at Radio City Music Hall? Dog, that's crazy, you know? But it's beautiful. I really want to be more entrenched in the D&D community, and I know that's pretty obvious from the last couple of episodes of Weekly Hyperfixations. but it's it's getting worse because I love D&D and I know a lot about D&D, and I forget that I have functionally, at least I'm like a jack of all trades for art in many forms. The thing I'm best at is improvisation and acting, but like I don't have a sketch on it yet, but I have a little canvas here, making sure my grubby little hands are on it so you can tell how big it is. I'm planning on painting probably Tyranny. I haven't quite decided. I do have more than one canvas though, because someone gave us a bunch. But you know. But I forget that I am good at the thing. I am currently making a Halloween costume, but it's not really a Halloween costume. I'm really just making the outfit that a D&D character that I haven't even gotten to play wears, because I'm so excited about that character. And listen, the costume's the least of my freaking worries, dude. Sorry, when did I become Clark Kent? It's literally the least of my worries though, because my character that wears this outfit is a satyr. So she's got goat feet. I do think I could probably modify a pair of high heels though. Like I'll probably wear high heels under it right off the bat anyway. And I'll wear black socks with it, so it just looks like my feet are just black. You know? I do still have the heels, you know, the heel part of the heel. But aside from that, you know, we have everything to make horns downstairs, that kind of thing. The makeup's easy. Yeah. I don't know, I just wanted to share that because I'm excited about it. I got super sidetracked off of talking of Jester though, my apologies. Jester's on the pyramid because she was a beautiful bride, and every single picture I see makes me so excited about it. That's the tweet, all right? Next up on the pyramid, the rest of our pyramid is real human people that are making impactful moves in society. So first up on the pyramid is James Gunn. Pretty self-explanatory, but while thinking about the next person on the pyramid and his recent statement, I just wanted to highlight James Gunn again for being so bold as to put, you know, any of the stuff he's put in Peacemaker into Peacemaker, because, you know, that's all over the internet. It's a really popular show, and he is so forthright with his opinions, and not in a way where he has to say what he thinks himself. You know what I mean? It's like seeing a painting and not knowing who it's by, but you can tell from the content of the painting something about that artist, that kind of thing. So just wanted to re-highlight James Gunn for his use of platform to make social commentary. Next up on the pyramid is Jim Lee, predominantly because he confirmed that DC was against the use of generative AI in storytelling and art. So DC Comics is going to be safe from that. Very good to hear, especially since some artists have been caught in the past, you know, whether it's for a front page or a variant cover. Some people have been caught, you know, either tracing art or using AI for their backgrounds. Doggy, why are you using AI? You literally have a degree for this job. Use your brain. So I'm glad that DC has taken a very formal stance on the issue. And that's why Jim Lee is on the pyramid. And then finally, on the top of the pyramid, and I believe she's been on the pyramid multiple times. I do think she has topped the pyramid before, though. Am I stupid? She's definitely been on the pyramid before, though. But finally on the pyramid is Greta Thunberg, because of her stance that I know that if I said everything they did while torturing me, my experience would be more widespread than the actual crisis going on in Gaza to Palestinians. And lo and behold, the top of the pyramid should absolutely be her, because she's a human who cares for humanity, simply put. And also, again, another beautiful use of platform. So, that's why she's on the pyramid this week. I kind of rushed through the end of that because I talked way too long about Critical Role, as I will always do, because you know I'm gonna say something next week too, because the next episode's tomorrow, y'all. By the way, lo and behold, I may have super strong ADHD and procrastination tendencies, but by God, if I didn't get all of my editing done an hour before Critical Role started, I think it was an hour. It might have been closer to 40 minutes. More than half an hour. I got everything done more than half an hour before the thing. That's crazy. And it's not just editing. It was uploaded, scheduled, thumbnail, everything all done with more than half an hour to spare before Critical Role started. Lo and behold, I found good motivation. So, with that, thank you all so much for watching again. Crazy that we're only 12 episodes away from having done this for a year. Y'all, hopefully I've gotten better at this. Thank you to everyone, who has liked, commented, subscribed at any point during this journey. And in particular with the state that the channel's at now, I guess, very big thank you to people who have been commenting, because as I have so heard, that's the best way to kind of get more outreach. The algorithm likes the commenting. Literally, you don't even have to comment about something I talked about. People have asked me unrelated questions just out of curiosity, because I do, my brain bounces between topics so much that just because I'm not talking about it doesn't mean that I might not at least know what it is, that kind of thing. So thank you so much for that. But crazy to think it's almost a year of this. I don't know, it just flew by, really. But as every year does, to be so honest. But anyway, thank you all again so much. You know the drill. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. I'll probably talk about D&D again. Actually, I will, because I'll be finishing up planning for my next session, but also Critical Role probably. But thank you all so much for watching. Like I said 5 seconds ago, same time, same place. And I'll see you then. Have a good rest of your week, and have a good week next week. Yeah, that's it. Bye, y'all.